Greetings and salutations. This is Derek with Taylor Whips, and welcome to this episode of Whip Tips, the segment where I share tips on whip making that will hopefully make your life a little bit easier. And we're going to start with this whip. Now, to give you a little bit of background, this is a whip that I made for a combat system, and it is a good whip, but I have had trouble with it for the longest time because the fall hasn't been just the way that I've wanted it. It has always made it perform just a little bit off from what I had hoped. And I have tried 4 or 5 different falls on this whip, and I still have yet to find the fall that I actually want to be on this whip for permanent. Now, the problem with having a whip where the fall isn't right is you have to try different falls in order to find the one that works. And with this particular whip, I have tried about 14 different falls on this whip. All of them work a little bit differently, and if I were to just put these straight into the fall hitch, they would be kind of a one-shot thing, where if I didn't get it quite right, I would be out of luck, and pretty well, I would end up with a bunch of falls where the eye was cut and I just couldn't use them over again. So in order to combat that, what I have done is I have created essentially a temporary English eye system that has allowed me to quickly and easily change out the falls from one to another so that I can try different falls to see which one is going to work and what works and what doesn't work. Now you've seen me just quickly take the fall right off of that whip, and I can put one on just as quickly. It is about a 2-inch piece. It has a loop on one end and a loop on the other end. I've designed this specifically to accommodate a fall on the smaller end and a fall hitch on the larger end. This can be customized according to your fall hitches. I typically will use a 4-point fall hitch, and so this is very good for something like a 4-point fall hitch. It is made using a scrap of cord. I'm sure if you have made whips or worked with parachute cord, you're going to have a scrap. This particular one is about 10 inches long. You don't need a whole lot. And it's fairly quick to go together. So I will come to the 3-inch mark. I will poke the needle in, of course having singed the one end and put a lacing needle on it. I'll come in at the 3-inch mark, and I will inject this in only for about 1 inch. That's all you need. You don't want this to be too long, otherwise the fall is going to extend way past the fall hitch and you're going to have a lot of energy loss. Likewise, you don't want it to be too short, otherwise you're going to have a lot of trouble changing the falls from one to another. So I find about 1 inch gives me enough to go through the fall hitch and still have enough room to work with. But I've made this eye, and I'm going to pull that essentially all the way closed. I'm going to put a fit on there just so that I don't close it up too much. I can work any of the slack off as I need, and that looks pretty good. I'll take the other end and I will inject that into the opening that I have singed off. I'm going to poke it out essentially where this strand came out. So that will poke through just like that. Now you'll see this eye has formed there. I'm just going to pull this closed just enough. I'm going to use the needle nose pliers here just to help me shape that a little bit. And what I'm looking for is that singed end to go about all the way down as far as I can get it. And the last step is to take a pair of scissors, cut off the excess, and singe that down. And that is a completed temporary English eye conversion thing. I haven't found a good name for it, but temporary English eye seems to be a fair enough thing. Now, a note about these. This is not meant to be a permanent solution. It theoretically could be, but would be better off not being. For the reason that this is mechanically inefficient. However, for the purpose of testing, this is going to allow you to be able to change out falls and get them pretty close. And when you're ready, this can quite easily be removed just like you would a regular fall, and your new fall can slide straight in there just like it would, and it is going to save you the pain and heartache of losing falls and falls and falls and falls as you test. It's going to allow you to tweak the style of fall. It's going to allow you to accentuate different properties or downplay different properties. Some of these falls are quite thick and heavy. Some of them are thin and heavy. Some of them are longer. Some of them are shorter. And all of them work, and all of them make the whip feel different. And that's the thing that I chase, is which fall is the perfect fall to make this whip work exactly as I want it to. And using this, I've been able to change out falls all the time for a different fall, and I haven't had to sacrifice any of the falls. Matter of fact, I had a fall here that I put onto a different whip, and I was able to do that because I hadn't had to cut it off. So consider, if you are playing with falls, if you are curious about how falls function and how they make or break the whip, consider this temporary English eye. That will allow you to explore to your heart's content without having to sacrifice a fall every time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.